thank all of you people for being here tonight. It's always good to have company with us. I think if years gone by, we'd be sitting up here maybe 1 or 2 in the audience. Shows that we have a lot of interest in our community. So thank you for being here. And we can't please everybody, but we're going to try to do what's right for the community. Yes. Yeah, I am. That being said, I'd like to give a hearty welcome to Mr. David Allen, Chairman of Randolph County Board of Commissioners. Thank you for being here, sir. It's a pleasure. You've been here before, and it's always a pleasure to see you attend some of our meetings in the county. Okay, at this time, I would entertain a motion that we approve the agenda.
I said we approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
I second.
Moved in seconds. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, can we move Kelly Link up to just above old business, maybe after J.C. Parrish?
Okay. Is that okay with you, board members? You want to have a vote for that? Okay. Also, Mr. William Brown has asked to speak again tonight on property tax. So I'd like to have permission to add him to public comment here. Anyone have a problem with that? If not, I'll entertain a motion. All in favor of the agenda is presented, raise your hand. All opposed likewise. Motion carries.
Where do you put William?
William is C on the public comment, and then we'll hear from Ms. Kelly then. Okay? I would entertain a motion that we approve the board minutes of February the 5th, the 8th, and the 22nd.
You have a motion to approve the minutes from 5th, 8th, and 22nd.
No second.
I second.
Is there any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All opposed likewise. Motion carries. We now have public comment, and Mr. J. Hubbard, you can have the floor, sir. Just state your name and who you reside, and what topic you want to speak on.
My name is Jay Hubbard. I reside on Church Street here in Ramseur. I'd like to talk about progress moving forward for the town. We all like to see Ramseur grow and prosper, right? Can we all agree on that? Well, progress requires a few things. For instance, we have to have a common set of rules that apply to everyone. At the local level, those rules are called ordinances. If we have an ordinance against keeping livestock in town, then no one should keep livestock in town, and anyone who does should be fined. If we have an ordinance requiring permits and setbacks for outbuildings, or that limits how many dogs we can keep, everyone who violates those rules should be brought into compliance. If we have an ordinance against tall grass or leaving junk all over our property, violators should be prosecuted, no exceptions. We all have to live by the same rules, and if we aren't going to apply them equally, they aren't worth having. Our town ordinances require all government committees to be approved by the full Board of Commissioners. A commissioner who ignores or refuses to follow our ordinance should be held in contempt. If we aren't going to follow the rules, we might as well do away with our charter, cut everyone's taxes, and go back to being just another unincorporated township in the county. I didn't buy property in this town to let that happen. But that's exactly where we're headed if we don't get our priorities in order. Progress requires people to set aside their differences and work together like adults. Several members of this board still refuse to work with our mayor, the most experienced member of the board. Instead, those commissioners prefer to spread gossip among themselves and balk at any effort to move forward. Stop wasting time on petty vendettas and focus that energy on things that will make Ramseur a place people can be proud of again. If you can't set aside your personal agenda for the greater good of our town, you need to resign from this board tonight. You should all be spending time each week working to move our town forward. With very few exceptions, that's not happening. Instead of cooperation and honest efforts to communicate with each other, all we hear are excuses. You haven't had time to read a contract, or you haven't done a job and can't be reached during the day, or you flat out refuse to help when asked. You put on a nice little show for the ill-informed, but that's all it is, a show. If you can't or won't make yourself available, you need to authorize those who can be to make at least some decisions in your absence and stop crying foul when they do. Some issues simply can't wait for you to find a convenient time to respond. It would be great if we could afford to spend more on recreational opportunities but we need improvements to our infrastructure more than we need ball teams and new programs. If we can't afford to invest in water line replacements, sidewalks, and street improvements in residential areas, or updates to our ancient stormwater system, we have no business spending money on programs that don't pay for themselves. We want to attract new people in the industry, fix our water system so the water tastes good when it reaches every customer in town. Repair our sidewalks so residents can walk from their homes to our commercial districts without risking a broken ankle. Update our storm drains so we aren't all eaten by mosquitoes every time we step outside. Make sure those who refuse to clean up their mess are so uncomfortable that they either clean it up or move away. We want programs for kids and seniors, partner with local churches, service groups, or businesses to get them to sponsor these programs. There's been a basketball league using the gym at First Christian Church every week, so don't tell me that's not an option. You ask for volunteers to advise you, but it's pretty obvious you don't want citizen input. You want rubber stamps to validate your personal agenda, even if it means going to another town to find them. I volunteered for a committee, but I have yet to see an email or receive a phone call. I don't rely on social media for important information, and contrary to popular misconception, I don't come to town hall every day. New revenue from beer and wine sales should be used to pay for things we need, not things we want and can't afford. Ramseur can be a great place where people want to live, but not with half the board of commissioners gossiping and wasting money on half their personal agendas. Move forward or get out of the way.
Mr. J.C. Parrish.
Thank y'all for allowing me to speak tonight. Chamber's got some events coming up that we wanted to keep the town informed of what's going on. It's some events that have been in the past that's been very successful. One of our most important events that we've done last year was our 5K and 10K over at Millstone Creek. We had almost 200 runners in that run, and the majority of those runners were from out of town, and several of them in the neighborhoods of Ramseur. So we brought a lot of people in from Cary, Durham, Raleigh, Winston, Greensboro, places that they just don't get here. Our event there, the proceeds goes towards a scholarship. Last year we were able to give one business scholarship to a graduating senior at Eastern Randolph High School last year. This year we are expanding our scholarship program. We have a spring run coming up, and the proceeds from that and the fall run are going to offer a scholarship at Providence Grove and another scholarship at Eastern. So that's some of the events. We've got some other events planned that are coming up in town here. And we also decided this year, the board did, that we would not be doing concerts this year. It's just, there's a lot of concerts in the community, so we decided to focus our effort on other community events. But in saying that, the Chamber would like to donate a sponsorship to the Ramseur concerts, and we're donating $250 tonight to the concerts on behalf of the Chamber. And just to let y'all know, we've got several events planned that hopefully will get the town support and come out and enjoy the events for the community. Thank you.
Mr. William Brown, property tax.
Yeah, I'm William Brown. I live at 649 Coal Ridge Road. I had a lot of things I want to talk about tonight, but I want to talk about taxes. Mr. Willholt, you stated that all the properties that municipalities hold do not have to pay taxes. You are correct, but you neglected to say that all the taxpayers here have to pay for the upkeep of all the properties that municipalities hold. So what
That's
kind of business is
Mr.
this?
Brown, that's two different.
No, sir.
questions. Yeah, it is.
No.
Ad valorem taxes, municipalities don't pay ad valorem taxes on property. Now, you're talking maintenance. I don't know, that seems to be a different kind of question.
Either way, it goes to the taxpayers of this community, this town. Now, I mean, I'm just stating the facts that I know of, and the fact that I've kept up a piece of property. So how about y'all figuring out how you gonna get in there to keep that piece of property up?
Is that all you have, Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. At this time, Ms. Kelly Link would like to speak to the Community Hope Alliance.
Hi, I am Kelly Link, and I live in Ashboro. I'm with Community Hope Alliance, and I'm here tonight to ask that everyone pay close attention to the opioid epidemic. And yes, it is an epidemic. 174 people die every day in the United States alone from an overdose. That is more than 7 people every hour. The face of addiction has changed. It's no longer, you know, the bum on the street or, you know, the dirty, you know, man, you know, it's anybody now. Addiction and overdose does not discriminate. It does not matter who you are or where you are from. Very few people are not touched by addiction in some way. And I'm guessing everyone in the room has known somebody that has died from an overdose. Maybe you didn't know them directly, but you knew of them. And it's sad. It's a very, very sad thing. We're losing a generation of people. We cannot be silent anymore. We cannot be ashamed, and we cannot, you know, sit back in embarrassment and not get the help that we need. Stigma and shame causes these losses, because with stigma and shame, the drug users aren't getting help, and their families, their loved ones are not getting the help that they need. Whether it means, you know, to teach them how to not enable, or just how to handle it. But the drug users are not going to come out of the woodwork and get the help they need if they're going to be stigmatized and shamed for it. And when I say this, I don't mean, you know, overlook other criminal behaviors. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about showing them some compassion and some care that, you know, in making a difference. And sometimes it only takes that one person to make a difference, and, you know, in somebody's life, and that may lead them to the help that they need. No one should suffer alone. Community Hope Alliance is committed to providing resources and promoting substance abuse education, awareness, prevention, and safety by coming together to reach the community as a whole with compassion and care amidst the opioid crisis. That is our mission statement. Long as it is our mission statement, and that is our mission. Our mission and our priority is saving lives. And we feel that everybody's priority should be saving lives. And one way that you can do that is just by carrying naloxone. Naloxone is opioid overdose reversal medication, and we get it free from North Carolina Harm Reduction Coalition, and we have given out over 400 kits of Narcan. We know that we have our Narcan has saved at least 50 lives, and most of the reversals are not even reported. And some of them have been saved multiple times. And we'll continue to give them the Narcan that they need, the naloxone, because, you know, a dead addict can't get help. So it doesn't matter how many times we save them or somebody saves them, they are worth saving. They are people, and somebody loves them. You know, they are people, and, you know, they're looked upon as the plague now. And we just ask that you try to understand that someone loves them. You know, they are brothers and sisters, they are sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, and I could go on and on. Somebody wants them to live. They don't want to live the way they live. They didn't choose it. They might have chose to pick up a drug and use it at some point, but after a very short time, their brain chemicals change and they have no control over it. And it is a disease, but there is choices in it. I am not discrediting that. Anyway, we the people of the community must come together and work towards better resources, easier access to detox and treatment, more long-term inpatient treatment, and a substantial aftercare. Simply locking them up, letting them back out to continue the cycle is clearly not working. We can't turn a blind eye anymore. Saving lives, like I said, should be everyone's priority. Please help us in any way you can. And we certainly, again, I already said that, so, just, we don't condone what they do, we don't say, you know, show them some compassion and let them go and they, you know, get arrested for stealing. That's not what we mean. We mean, treat them as human beings and help us to find the resources, because it's only getting worse. It's only getting worse. I have some brochures here if anybody would like one. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to old business now, and the first item is Lake Board contract, Commissioner Cotton.
The board has met, it was one of those closed meetings, and I recommended that we offer the Lake Warden contract to Keith Sykes. There was a consensus on that. Mr. Sykes did have some medical issues, they were unexpected. I was hoping that he was gonna be able to meet with us today, and he may slip in yet, but I'd like to go ahead, his medical issues have been taken care of, and I'd like to go ahead and offer him the contract. I make a motion that we offer Keith Sykes contract for Lake Warden position.
Second.
Move to second, we offer Keith Sykes the Lake Board position. Any discussion?
When is, plan for the lake to open?
Right now, we're going to be having a CPR class tomorrow, so he can get a CPR certification. And the insurance company is working on getting the liability. I expect that we're gonna be open Thursday or Friday, depending on, when we can get that binder on the liability insurance.
You know, and the reason I ask about that, because we get calls daily in the office wanting to know, and we're sort of keeping people in limbo.
Yeah, I understand that, and I've gotten several of those calls, and I appreciate you sending them to me. I'll talk with people, and people are very understanding of the situation, and, hopefully we'll be able to get this under control. And it was really unfortunate, it was something that's very unexpected, and Mr. Sykes has, done well in his recovery, so hopefully we'll be able to get this taken care of and have the lake open by, like I said, Thursday or Friday.
Do we have a copy of this liability insurance yet?
No, I spoke with the insurance company today, they're working on it, we should have the binder very shortly.
That's for him, his $1 million coverage.
Yes, sir.
So he'll have to have that and CPR before we start, right?
Right, and I'm hoping to get that in the next couple of days.
And, we have help lined up, or we leave?
He's got some people that he has worked with, and I've also been and told him that I can provide him with some names from, the gentleman that helped the previous Lake Warden.
Any other discussion? If no other discussion, all in favor of the motion of hiring Ronald Keith Sykes as the Lake Warden, raise your hand. All opposed likewise. Motion carries. Building purchase, Mayor Shaw. Some of you may have heard and some of you may not have, but we had an opportunity I think about 8 years ago when Kevin Franklin was still here. The PNC Bank left town. We tried to buy that property, or we didn't try to buy it, we tried to get them to donate it to the town for us to use for whatever means possible. They didn't do that, and here we are about 8 years later, and they came back to us and says, well, we're gonna sell you that building if you'll meet our terms. And the terms that they came to was $5,000 for that building. As my understanding, about a month or so ago, they were offering $50,000 for it to an independent broker. But they saw the need here in Ramseur. And I want to commend former Commissioner Robert Hesselmeyer, who's done a lot of legwork on pursuing this building for us. And I got my doubts if he hadn't done a lot of work that he did, we may not be able to purchase that building for what we got it for. So,
Mayor,
yes.
you may want to just make a comment that they're donating the value.
Right, I was going to.
Okay, thank you.
Our purchase price was $5,000, and the total, the tax value on that building, I think, is like $110,000, $132,000. They have asked us to make them a pledge of a gift for the balance of what we paid for it and what the tax value was. So naturally, we can do that to help them out. But, I signed the paperwork, the building is already a building belongs to the town of Ramseur. Whatever the use of it is gonna be decided by this board tonight, I hope. There's two options for this building. Number one, I think it's been, the police department has expressed a lot of interest in that building. Some have mentioned maybe moving the town hall up to that building. That's not my choice to make. This board of commissioners need to decide what they want to do with that building, because we have to know where to take the funding from to refurbish that building, which department's gonna come out of it. It's gonna come out of administration, or come out of the police department. But I will tell you that the building does not have any withholdings on it, other than it cannot be used for a financial institution for 3 years. Other than that, it can be used for any purpose the town sees fit. So I would like to, the board to give them some discussion on who you want to use that building and for what purpose. We can't move in it today because there's going to be some work on it. But it is ours, so we need to decide what we need to do with it.
I talked to a couple of people, they signed paperwork, and it's been expressed that that would be a great place to move to the town hall, because they have a drive-up window, you know, like where the bank, and then a drive-in window, to be able to pay water bills for people that were older people and somebody that, you know, sick or whatever needs to come by and pay their bill, they can just go to the drive-through window. I think it, my personal opinion, it would be a good move for the town hall to move up there for that reason, to assist the residents in the town. And, you know, you can move the police department to the existing town hall.
I would like to, if I may, I'd like to, I've talked to former Commissioner Huston, and I've talked to Larry Lowell, the chief, and a lot of the pre-work that Commissioner Hesselmeyer done, talked to the NC and things like that, it was directed, if I'm correctly, in order to make that a police department. And that's the way it was approached to PNC during the process. They just did not limit us to that. But since it was approached for that, and since my departments are in need, the police department has not had really good facilities since I worked here back in '96, I believe it was. And then they moved them over to the bank building across the street here, and they're upstairs in an old building, and it's pretty rough shape. I'm not even sure if it's, you know, it really needs to be used for anything at this point. However, my recommendation is, based on the information I gathered, is use for police department.
When I first had a chance to go into that building, my first thought was, this would make a great town hall. And I say that for a couple of reasons, and this was without even talking to anybody else, and it was the first thing that came out of my mouth. One is the glass that's there is great. It's a great working atmosphere, and I think it would be more open. The counter space in there is going to be great for customer service. There is a vault in there for what the town clerk would need, and there was 2 or 3 offices, but there was a huge lobby area. I think that would be really good for town hall. The downside that I see is the public meeting room would still be over here. I would actually like, if we don't have to make a decision on this today, I would actually like a little bit more time to meet with members of the community to see how they would feel on that. There's good points to both. I'd like to get a tour of the actual police department right now to see what kind of conditions they're in and what they need, to see what would be in their best interest so that we can make a better informed decision.
I'd like to say something. When it started out, it was ex-Commissioner Hessmeyer. He did a lot of work to try to get the police department in a decent building, because they have went through a lot over there with heating and just different things, the weather, the condition of the building and stuff. Even though I think the PNC Bank would make a wonderful town hall, but overall it was done to be it was for the police department, and I don't think we should take it from them. There would be a lot of stuff in moving town hall there, which will be a lot for the police department as well. But that's what the building was intended to. The legwork was done for that reason, and I think we should stick to it.
And another thing I'd like to add is that if we ended up moving the town hall to that building and then moving the police department, or we're moving two different offices, you got two different sets of records that you're jumbling around. And most of those records are too important to take any chances with, or any unnecessary chances with, I think.
And also, we have the food pantry and stuff here. If this was the police department stuff, a lot of things might have to change, because people wouldn't be able to have access to come in. Well, like when the food pantry come in, they come in through our office. If it became police department, they no longer could do that and stuff. So there's a lot that plays into this. If we were to move town hall up there and the police department in here, it would cause a lot of things to have to change.
Commissioner Cheek, when you say they come in through our office, what do you specifically?
They have to enter when they come to the office, or either there would be so many keys, because each church take a week or whatever and stuff, and you have different workers coming in every day and stuff. So everybody would have to have a key.
Don't they have the key to their own, the back doors and that separate?
No.
We have two keys, one the president has and the other one I have for emergencies right now.
But
But it's still not, we're not here, so they can't always come in, so they do go through
the
their
office. And they wouldn't be able to do that if this was the police department or anything. So there would be a lot of things would have to change if you wanted to move town hall up there, and I think it would cause a lot of stress on other departments and stuff.
As far as the records that the police department would have to move, is there any plans for the existing police department, and is there some kind of problem with leaving some of the stuff over there? I think we've got evidence, and then we've also got older records.
Well, since there's a safe up in that building, all the evidence would be transferred over there to that safe, just as it was when the police department was here. They had to transfer it over there. It's just a matter of doing it properly, doing it.
But what I'm saying is, could they still leave it over there if they wanted to access it over there? Because that building would still be locked and secure, is that correct?
Yeah, they could, it would be usable, it would still be the town who would decide what it was.
So it's not something that actually has to move, we can still free up some room.
It would take a lot of work on the building. That building needs a lot of work. I mean, a lot. If they were going to use that for storage or something.
Let the people speak.
And,
Hold on, man. I like what Commissioner Connell had to say earlier. We don't have to make a decision tonight, because we need to weigh this thing out. We can all go up and look at it, and see what's best feasible. But I want to echo, and I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes by speaking, because I think I have a right to do that, but police department is in need of a place. We all know that. We've known that for a long time. And is that the best place for the police department? I would say yes, maybe. It's got advantages, like Commissioner Carter said. We got a drive-through window up there, you pay water bill. However, I don't like the idea of having to move to two different departments to make one change, you know? So let the board, if it's okay with the board, let's put this off until next month. Give us an all opportunity to explore the avenues, and then make a decision what we want to do with it, not having to do it tonight.
I will say this then, we will have to do something soon, because the money that's being spent, we've got to know which department that's coming out of, and right now, everything's on hold.
Well, we know that.
Are we gonna hear from anybody here tonight? If we're not gonna hear from anybody, if anybody would share any of your feelings on this with a commissioner of your choice,
Yeah.
or any of us, please do so, because we need your input.
If it's okay with the board, we'll table this till next month. At the next month's meeting, we'll make a decision on who's going to use it. Is that okay?
I'll make the motion.
Well, you have to do that. We just table it till next month's meeting, okay? All right, the next item under old business is a review of work performed. Commissioner Cottle.
I sent our town clerk an email because I had some questions about the work that was performed out here. And first off, I'd like to say that I don't have a problem with the work being performed. I'm not trying to be hard to get along with. What I have a problem with, and maybe problem is not necessarily the correct word, is the way that it came about. Per the minutes dated September of 2017, the commissioners voted to take advantage of a grant opportunity. A letter was received by the town dated July 26, which was presented to the board at the September meeting. During the time the letter was received and the time the board was made aware, the mayor and a representative from the community garden began getting project ideas together. This is per the minutes. However, these ideas could not come to fruition because of the impossibility of making Goat Hill handicap accessible. With that realization, the sign company was contacted and a quote submitted. Quotes were provided for roof replacement for Town Hall at $35,590 with another quote on the way. Needed repairs to the front porch, stairs at $11,000 and crosswalks. A motion and a vote, and the board agreed to refurbish Town Hall, place 2 crosswalks on Main Street at a cost of $16,000 and purchase 3 wayfinding signs for $7,032.32. The minutes that reflect this do not state who initiated or who authorized the contract with the vendors, just that it was done. On September 15th, the 2017-2018 Downtown Revitalization Economic Development Proposal Form was signed and submitted. Section 1 of the project information states the town of Ramseur is looking to undergo several projects with grant monies received through the Revitalization and Economic Development. The proposed ideas are sidewalk repairs on Main Street, 6 wayfinding signs for downtown, and some building repairs to the town hall building. The town hall building repairs will include roof replacement for $21,250 and brick repair and replacement for $11,600. 6 wayfinding signs will be purchased for direction to downtown for a total cost of $14,060.64. The remaining funds, $13,089.36, will be used to repair sidewalks up and down Main Streets. The minutes from September 11, 17 do not authorize 6 signs or funds to be used for sidewalk repair. However, the clerk has indicated that she had a conversation with individual commissioners over the phone about these changes. The minutes from October 2017 mention the grant monies and that it was determined 2 crosswalks could be completed for roughly $16,000, or 8 can be done for about $26,000, and that funds could be used from the Powell bill funds. A motion and approval for 8 crosswalks out of Powell bill funds was approved. Even though the grant was already submitted, there was no mention of the grant money being used for sidewalk repairs. On January 16, 2018, a contract was signed for the purchase of 4 wayfinding signs at a cost of $11,742. This is a lot of money going around here. I know it's hard to keep up with. We went from 3 to 6 to 4 with no public discussion. From 4 wayfinding signs at a cost of $11,000 to 3 to 6 to 4 to a final of $11,742. Even though this is grant money being spent, it also affects our budget. Money from the grant was initially going to be spent on crosswalks, which then changed to Powell bill funds at an increase of $15,000. Then sidewalks were thrown into the grant, which could have been also funded by Powell bill funds, which is about $15,407.50, which could have been made more grant money available for revitalization. I know it seems like I'm being a little picky, and some of these funds from the grant and the Powell bill fund may may be being used efficiently, but why were some of the decisions made without public discussion by the board, and there are no minutes to reflect that individual conversations were had? It appears that the minutes do not support the work performed or the money spent. I believe this is an issue that needs to be corrected, but I also believe that there needs to be discussion on how this transpired and what we can do to make sure it doesn't happen again. It is my opinion that correspondence initially received should have been presented to the board at the August meeting, and that the community and the commissioners should have had input in the recommendations on how the grant money could have been spent in the very beginning. That once the vote was taken, the application should have stated just that it was voted on, and if sidewalk repair was going to be thrown into the mix, it should have been put into the minutes during the October meeting. Planning and zoning, well, that's all I have on that. So therefore, since the minutes do not reflect the actuality, I think we need to make a motion to correct or to change or to amend the minutes, however we need to do, to make sure that the money that was spent is reflected accurately in our minutes.
I would like to comment on that before we proceed. You weren't on the board when all this took place. You've got some facts and figures there together. However, you don't have all the facts and figures. And Bobby has a statement that I want her to read at this time on how this actually transpired. If you're trying to put the blame on me for finding something I didn't have authority to do, we're fixing to correct that with some minutes that I want her to read, and I want everyone in here to pay particular attention to what she's fixing to say.
Okay, I'm not trying to put the blame on anybody. What I'm trying to do is get the minutes correct so we can...
This money that we appropriated to the town of Ramseur, an amount of $60,000, my first comment that I received from downtown people was, we want that money spent on our buildings. Our buildings were taken care of through the NC STEP program. This is money that the taxpayers, citizens of the town of Ramseur will not have to put out for a new roof, new sidewalks, and wayfinding signs. This is grant money from the North Carolina State, and Mr. Rick Gunn phoned me and said, Mayor, I have $60,000, and I told him the projects that we were going to use. He said, that sounds outstanding. Let me know when you proceed with it. I want to be involved. I want to come down and see what's taking place. So the money that we spent is for town upkeep. It's not on any particular building downtown, or not all for town hall. We needed a new roof. Our roof was leaking. Our steps are falling apart. We needed new steps. The parking deck at the back of town hall, the people back into it, is falling apart. When people come into Ramseur, they don't even know Ramseur exists. They see the sign, Ramseur City Limits, welcome to Ramseur, where family and friends meet, but a lot of people don't even know downtown exists. So we had some wayfinding signs that we appropriated in this finding to help the merchants that are downtown now get people to come down and visit your shops. It's for your benefit, not for mine, not for anyone else in this building, other than the merchants downtown Ramseur, to let people know you're here. So Bob, if you would, I would like you to read this statement on how this actually transpired.
Okay, at the September board meeting, Mayor Shaw presented the use of guaranteed funds of $60,000 for downtown revitalization. The initial project was going to be a pocket park on Goat Hill that the community garden had planned. Mayor Shaw and a couple members of the community garden club worked to get information prepared and present to the board before the meeting. The day of the meeting, it was discovered that the park would have to be made handicap accessible. This project was scratched due to the high cost and the dangers of making it handicap accessible. The mayor and I worked that day to get information we could gather to present to the board at that meeting that night. The proposal form was due September 15th. So we worked really hard the day of the meeting to get people here to get quotes for what we did present to the board. After the presentation, it was discussed and the POW funds on crosswalks was questioned. It was also asked about another roof quote due to the high one we received, which was almost $36,000. The board approved the project with spending a maximum of $69,620.32. After looking into the crosswalks and roof quotes, on September 12th, the second roof quote came in for $21,255, and it was discovered that POW funds could be used for the crosswalks. I was waiting an additional roof quote as it came in on September 15th. That day, the proposal was due. I called each commissioner by phone, discussed the additional roof quotes, asked their opinion on which one they wanted me to proceed with. I discussed the new proposal prices and changes that could be submitted using no additional town funds. The changes to the proposal were 3 additional wayfinding signs, a lower roof quote, scraping the crosswalks, and using additional funds to fix Main Street sidewalks. A new proposal with exact dollar figures was placed in the box of each commissioner on that day, and I was told to go with the lowest roof quote and proceed with the proposal form. I submitted it to the form on September 15th, and with the proposal, it was 6 wayfinding signs for $14,060.64, the town hall roof repair for $21,255, town hall front porch and back wall repair at $11,600, and Main Street sidewalks at $13,8936, with an exact $60,000 total. The 6 wayfinding signs required encroachments agreement with the DOT. After a couple meetings between Mayor, Mark Gross, and the DOT, it was advised to continue with 5 signs instead of 6. The difference of the one side was added to the sidewalk repairs due to the proposal form stating the remaining funds would be then used to the Main Street sidewalks. So with the change, it was 5 wayfinding signs for $11,742.50 and raising the sidewalk repair to $15,407.50. Still keeping that $60,000 limit. To date on this project, the town has signed an encroachment agreement with DOT for 5 signs. A down payment of $46.97 to TRG Signs has been paid. Jeff Hannon began the roof work on February 8th, replaced the roof. The project was completed on February 16th. Goldston's Concrete began on February 8th on the sidewalks on Main Street. To date, he has completed $8,753 worth of repairs to the sidewalks. The repairs to the town hall front porch and back wall will begin when contractors called up due to fighting the weather. The bricks have been ordered and delivered. He's just waiting to get us on his list. A progress report on what was spent is attached to the back of this. And a progress report was sent on February 8th to the NC Department of Commerce with updates on this project.
Mayor, I don't think Mayor Pro Tem Collins has a problem with what was spent. All she's wanting to do is get it put in the minutes to where the minutes will be up to date with what we've done.
That's correct.
I would entertain a motion that we put this in as our official minutes for the downtown revitalization that she just read.
I still make that motion.
Is there a second?
A second.
Is there any discussion? If no discussion,
Hang on. Is that
yes.
for this meeting or for October's meeting?
Go back and change the October meeting for this.
I don't think we changed the October minutes.
Well-
I think what we do is just add it to today's meeting minutes.
Either way, it doesn't matter to me. I just want this thing
Just say the amendment,
amended,
October minutes.
amend the October meeting.
Just say the
Vote, I would entertain a motion that we vote to amend the October meeting to include this quotes. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make that
We'll
motion.
remove the first motion.
Is that how we need to do it, is amend the October minutes?
Well, you want those minutes to be reflective
Right.
to what you actually spent, what you sent to Raleigh, is that correct?
Yes.
So I think it's important that it reflect what the actual expenditure was, because the board agreed on everything. Is that your understanding?
Right.
So you're retroactively going back to correct, because I think you had the DOT withdrew, requested that one sign be withdrawn.
Yeah.
So I think we need to be.
DOT requested that we remove the sign up here at Ramseur Elementary School, it's a stoplight at McDonald, because we had one on each end of the town, coming into town. And when you come into town, there'll be one at Columbia Avenue, pointing you down Columbia Avenue. And when you get to the graveyard, there'll be one pointing you in this direction, and there'll be one here at Liberty Street, pointing you up this way. There'll also be another one as you're coming in west from Asheboro on 64, before you get to 22, downtown business district, and a couple of others on there. And when you get up here to Main Street and Highway 22, there'll be another in the rest of you downtown. That's
Trust
five
me, I
signs.
like having the wayfinding signs, I don't have a problem with it. I just want our minutes to accurately express it.
What you might want to reflect is that they supplement in a minute, the minutes that were to outline the expenditures, proper expenditures and then what was done. Because what you're doing is outlining exactly what you spent.
Right.
Because before, the minutes were reflected on those other figures, and these were later changed.
These are actual changes.
Right.
Fine.
So I
It
think
was
the
supplement.
date your motion, the motion's dated today, I'd say it supplements and amends the previous minutes of that earlier session. Was that in October?
Yeah.
October?
And do we not need to get that to the auditor since he's doing the last year's
Probably
audit?
need to get
No,
that.
the last year's audit's already
It won't
done.
be,
I
it
think
won't be
we need-
until this
we'll
next
need-
fiscal
When we
year.
file our final report with Raleigh, we'll
Yes.
submit it.
It'll be in this fiscal year.
We have until June to get this, all this projects completed. So that will be.
I think that's June 30th.
I would entertain a motion to accept,
We supplement and amend.
motion.
I withdraw my previous motion and accept how the attorney worded the motion to be.
You got that, Bob? Is there a second to that? No?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Wow. If not, all in favor of the motion, raise your hand. Life is complicated sometimes. At least we got through it, did we not, Commissioner Cobb?
It is complicated, but we gotta get it right.
We're gonna get everything right. Planning and zoning alternate seat, Commissioner Cobb.
The alternate seat for the Planning and Zoning Board has been vacant for more than a year. It's been several years since this board has been fully staffed, and it seems that the Planning and Zoning Board doesn't seem to be concerned. Even though it was announced in January that they couldn't hold a meeting because they didn't have a quorum. It was stated at the January Board of Commissioners meeting that anyone interested needed to submit an application. Have any applications been received?
One Friday.
Has Mr. Smith,
I have one, it's Mr. Parrish's, that's it, that's the only one I have as of Friday. I don't have any, that's the only one I have.
who has one to be considered?
I beg your pardon?
You're saying there's one that's pending and one to be considered?
There's one that's being considered, yeah. I mean, that he's considering to.
So he has not submitted his application?
Beg your pardon?
To make a recommendation.
No, no.
It's my opinion, and I brought this up on several occasions, that our board needs to be fully staffed according to the law. We're not complying with the law. 2 months has passed now since I brought this up last time. It was brought up several times last year. I think we need to go ahead and fill that. It's an alternate seat on the Planning and Zoning Board. And if Mr. Parrish has put an application in, I make a motion that we fill that seat.
I think we need to wait until they have their meeting so they
Hold on
can
a
make
minute,
their
hold on a minute.
recommendation.
Wait a minute.
Yes,
We have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I second.
Motion is second. Now, is there any discussion?
Yeah, I think we have to give the planning and zoning board time enough to make their recommendations. They are talking to people. We just had this application turned in Friday, not saying that he won't get it, but you got to give them a chance to be able to do their job and make a recommendation, instead of trying to force something.
And I'm not trying to force anything. It's been a year.
Elton, or do you have any comments on?
Well, yes, sir, Commissioner Cox, I have not.
Come up here for pose, if you will. Come up here. Since that's a reflection on the planning and zoning board.
My name's Elton Smith, I'm chairman of the Planning and Zoning Board. I have not received this application yet. I mean, not that I haven't been targeted, to that. Our meeting will be, our March meeting will be held on the 19th. We had our February meeting, we discussed, asked people that we thought might be interested in the alternatives position. And if they knew of anybody, to please ask them that we would get them application, or please come to town hall to get an application so we can consider that. We have it on our agenda to consider the alternative on our March meeting. But like I say, we've got a couple of people that have not filled out applications that express interest in this. And so I would recommend that we wait. And I mean, of course, the Board of Commissioners has that power. I mean, if you want to appoint somebody tonight, the planning and zoning, you overrule us. So, but, we would like the consideration to
consider the candidates. But that's totally up to you, so.
Personally, I'd like to see time given, a little more time given to the planning and zoning board to review all possible candidates.
So do you think if the planning and zoning board, at their meeting this month, is able to come up with their recommendation after more than a year, you think that this one more month is gonna make a difference?
I kind of think it do because, at one point, the planning and zoning board tried to fill this position and the board of directors denied them one candidate, so I think you've got to give them a fair chance. They would have had a full staff, but there was some, yeah, but still,
Since then.
Exactly,
This-
I'm
this-
sorry,
this-
when was
excuse me.
that?
This seat's just been vacant since November.
no, but I'm
No,
talking about,
That's not
Yes.
right.
Yes, Randy was the alternate.
But Randy didn't even go to
He
his,
got elected.
Yes, but he
in
was
December,
doing
excuse
the
me.
alternate position.
and
It
before,
would be unfair to the zoning, planning and zoning.
and before then, there was a
How am I being
position
unfair?
open.
All
And,
I stated was that this position has not been vacant for a year. It's only been vacant since December.
Let's hold that discussion, let's hold
Is
that,
that,
let's.
Bobby, is that
Hey,
correct?
I'll call a point, let's hold this discussion to the board of commissioners at the time, okay? And Mr. Ellis Smith, if we're calling you again, I would say this,
Yes, she misunderstood.
if I'm permitted to do so, that
It's
the
been
planning,
since December.
excuse me, Commissioner Oldman, the planning and zoning board has always in the past made recommendations to the board of commissioners for their members. Now, that being said, it's taken them too long to do this. However, if they have a couple of candidates and they're meeting on March the 19th, I would say that the board of commissioners should wait and enter JC's application and he be considered with their other two candidates, and then you make a presentation to the board of commissioners for approval. The board can approve or disapprove your recommendation. That's the board's decision to make. If they disapprove your proposal, then the board of commissioners can make a recommendation to put whoever they want to on that board. Now, that's my discussion. Anyone else want any further discussion?
so could we have that by the April meeting? Could we have recommendations by the April meeting,
Yes, we'll make recommendations by then, yes, ma'am.
so that, we can vote on this in April?
I'd like to add one thing, if I could. The planning and zoning is not paid, it's a voluntary thing. It's a lot of work for a volunteer to commit to. So if we have some applications, I think we need to look at all possibilities.
Could we get it before the night of the meeting? I mean, as soon as y'all find out who y'all want to nominate, could you get it to Bobby so she can get it to us, so we can discuss it?
We can do that, because we should have some kind of recommendation by the 20th of March. So what you're requesting is that we relay that information on to the town clerk,
Yes.
so that she can.
Right.
Okay.
That'd be good. The board can have an opportunity to talk to individuals whoever makes it.
Mayor, you got a motion, a
Yeah.
second, you need to discuss.
We still got discussion.
It's called.
Yeah.
She wants to
We're
pursue.
still discussing. Okay, well, any further discussion?
Considering the discussion and planning and zoning chair's statement that they will have us a recommendation by our next board meeting, I will withdraw my motion.
I'll withdraw my second.
All right. David seconded withdrawing her motion. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion of withdrawing the previous motion, raise your hand. All opposed likewise. Have us somebody by April meeting, or we want to appoint somebody.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you,
Fair
sir.
enough.
Yes, sir.
All right. Email issue, town web page, IT person, Commissioner Cottle.
Okay, as you know, I've been trying to get our email up and running so that all the commissioners have a town email address. It seems to me that it's very, very important, in order that we comply with the state, that all communication is public. We've tried through our town to have these email addresses up and running, but we seem to have a problem with them. Commissioner Overman, you don't have yours up yet? Commissioner Cox?
I can receive, but I cannot send.
Okay, so I've asked Bobby to approach our, web person to see what our problem is, why are we having so much trouble, why we can't do that. Bobby, you got some information on that, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Wanna go for that?
Okay, so today I received an email from our web developer. She informed me that our website was built in 2006. It does not offer mobile device functionality. It's not responsive with mobile devices. It is out of date, of course, and as of June 15th, 2018, we will no longer have this web developer available to us. She has been providing services for free since 2006 for us. So now we must change everything. Our web server hosting, we're gonna have to get in touch with our domain owner and do a DNS reappointment.
Can we do that in-house?
No. That I can do it, if somebody will build the website, I will do it. I want to have the ability to do in-house changes myself instead of going through email and it's 2 days later before it can be updated.
Right.
However, I am not an IT person and I cannot do that type of update by myself.
So we're gonna have to contact another IT person.
Maybe
Get
she
it.
WordPress.
she has a quote attached to it.
Yeah, I do have a quote. I called Triad Web Design Service in Greensboro today just to kind of get an idea. Our current website has 23 pages. To rebuild the website, the price would be $2,799 with a $224 a month hosting and maintenance fee. That would give us 4 hours of edits a month, 20 email accounts, and weekly backups to the website.
That's just one, there's other agencies
Yeah,
out
that's
there.
just, I just picked somebody and called just to have an idea when you got this information tonight.
Can we get the town clerk to do a little more checking on this and bring it up at the next meeting?
And if we know somebody, if any of us know anybody, we can go ahead and approach them and ask them to submit some information to you.
Contact to know exactly, get apples to apples.
Yeah, yeah.
Get bids.
So, you're gonna contact other servers and see what we can come up with, and make sure everybody's on the same page. Is that okay with the board?
Yes.
So, I would entertain a motion that we give the clerk permission to proceed with an IT service.
Give the clerk permission to check with IT services to get a better price.
I'll second.
Moving and second, any discussion? If no further discussion, all in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right, do we have any further old business or comments under old business? If not, we'll move on into new business. O'Reilly recommendation, Brown's Auto from Elton Smith.
Okay, as I stated before, my name is Elton Smith, I'm chairman of the Planning and Zoning Board. I would like to read the following statement. Ramseur Planning and Zoning Board met on February the 19th, 2018 for the discussion of the property located at 6501 Jordan Road, Ramseur, North Carolina. The Ramseur Planning and Zoning Board is pleased to recommend this request to the Board of Commissioners for approval. The Planning and Zoning Board recommendation is based on the review of the site plan submitted on behalf of O'Reilly Auto Parts. The Planning and Zoning Board is recommending that the Board of Commissioners approve this site plan as submitted. And it's signed on February the 20th by Elton Smith, Planning and Zoning Chairman. Okay.
Wait, let's take care of one at a time, okay?
Okay.
What's the pleasure of the board, Mr. O'Reilly's
I
recommendation?
make a motion that we accept the recommendation so they can move forward.
Is there a second?
I second it.
There's 3 seconds, so we'll be in discussion. I would say, I would ask, we reviewed the site plans, and these site plans been changed to the specifications?
There was no changes needed. There was nothing needed to be changed. The only reason it had to go before them was because as a zoning administrator, I cannot approve over 2 acres of a property.
Okay,
There was nothing needed to be changed.
okay. I was informed of that. I know we went through the plans and seen some things needed to be changed, but the front of the building is okay with the
Right,
front.
the only thing, Mr. Mayor, in question was, and we had several emails and telephone conversations with the, planning, or anyway, the
O'Reilly's.
was it the architect or the
Yeah.
master? Anyway, the architect, and he sent us a fax of, what the front of the building would look like, and I personally went down to Siler City, North Carolina,
Yeah.
where they have one,
Right.
and looked to make sure that it was, because I wanted to touch and feel and see what it is. And that it is gonna be a different material, I mean, it's still metal, but it's a different texture, it's called an architectural
Architectural
texture instead of the corrugated or real.
Okay, that's all. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion of approving this recommendation, raise your hand. All opposed, likewise, motion carries. For you people that didn't know, O'Reilly's is coming to town beside the Dollar General store. We'll tear down our 2-story house and improve that property. Okay, Mr. Smith, you have something else?
This has nothing to do with planning and zoning board, so I'm speaking on behalf of myself. What there is, come before you anyway, a special,
Temporary special.
okay, it's called a special permit for Brown's Auto Repair. Okay, I think what this is, it's gonna be a 30-day permit for him to be able to, he was approved for a auto repair shop and also a used car sales lot. And we've had numerous complaints about down there in the curve and his customers and at the Reed County Innovites. He was approved one time, and then we had community or concerns, and it was, he was said that he had to do something else. And so anyway, and then I feel that this would be, it's not a permanent thing, and that was some concerns of the community, that it was gonna be, if we approve this, that he was just gonna continue, or anyway, just enlarge his operation, and it was gonna be the same. And Mr. Brown, he has assured me, and this is one way, I think this is a wonderful way to control him. We'll have a 30-day period on this special permit to where he's gonna be able to put his used cars up there in this, where he's wanting, part of the residential lot that he owns adjacent to his business lot. He wants to put part of it as a used car lot. Okay, he will just be permitted to put his used cars that are for sale up there, and I think that everybody will see a big improvement if he can move his used cars from the repair facility up there, and then he'll have had adequate room for the customers' repair cars, and also, well, that's basically what he does, repairs cars for the customers. And I think that this would be a good solution. Like I say, it's not a permanent thing, it's just a 30-day thing, and everybody can see kind of, what his intentions are and what he plans to do, and then he'll have to come before the Board of Commissioners again for, if he wants to, a final, approval, permanent approval of that, so.
All right, the Board of Commissioners have had this all in hand, and all of you have read it, so what's the pleasure of the board on this temporary special permit for 30 days?
Do you know if he's going to expand,
No, what this
or is
is
this just to sell the 20 cars he has in inventory?
Dennis is working with him to use that hill to put 20 cars, line up 10 in a very orderly fashion, and Dennis is going to make sure that it continues to stay that way for the 30-day period. As he sells one, he can put another one up there to clear that lot off.
The maximum of 20
Probably he don't have 30, he don't have
for this 30 days.
Well, he's only got 30 days to review to it, so. What's the pleasure of the board? I would entertain a motion, we authorize this temporary special permit for 30 days.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I think it give the, citizens a chance to see what he's willing to do. And, you know, he is in there for business and stuff, and we need to help him out if we can, but at the same time be respectful to all our other citizens in the surrounding areas. Also, it's just for 30 days. If you don't keep it up, after 30 days, it's a done deal. And code enforcement and planning and zoning is gonna be watching to make sure that these things is carried out.
And Dennis does go down there and make him pull a key and start a car, and if it does not start, he makes him remove it.
Yeah, these 20 cars will not be parked up there for him to do any work on.
Yeah.
If they do, they're gone. Any other discussion?
Does the board want to hear from Mr. Floyd?
Pardon?
I think something might have got left out on planning and zoning. Was you supposed to bring that up?
No, I didn't. No.
No, I mean, I'm talking about what I'm doing. I was told it was coming to this meeting.
No, sir.
You don't need approval for what you
I
need.
don't.
No. It's not got nothing to do with you, Scott.
Okay.
You just come see me and I'll get you your form.
But you can stay to breakfast with us if you
No,
want
I'm
to.
supposed to be doing something, but
Okay.
I was told it had to go.
Is there any other discussion from the board? If not, all in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All opposed likewise, motion carries. He has 30 days to comply with this order. Police report, Commissioner Cox.
Police department had 125 calls for the month of February. And y'all have a copy of that, and you make a motion to the report to be approved.
Okay, is there a second? Been moved and seconded to approve the 125 calls. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All opposed likewise, motion carries. Expenses for fire department, Commissioner Cox.
The fire department had 319 and a half training hours, 25 calls, and they had an expense of $1,020. Make a motion for that, for the expense to be approved.
We have a motion on the floor to approve $1,020 for the fire department.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, any discussion?
How much was that figure?
$1,020. If no discussion, all in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All opposed likewise, motion carries. Animal control issue, Commissioner Cox.
It was brought to my attention yesterday, and I spent a lot of time in this, about 3 hours yesterday, and just about 6 hours today, researching and researching code ordinances and finding out what, from an animal control point, that could be done with this issue. Did everybody get a chance to read over the petition that was signed? What I would like, there is provisions to take care of this situation through animal control. I talked to Larry Lowen, their chief of police, which controls animal control, which is under my department. And I've asked him if he would like assistance in this investigation and maybe other animal control situations that I might be able to help with. And he is privy to that. He would like for me to take more of this request and want to advise the board of that and get their permission to enforce some of the animal control issues. If it's not criminal, if it's only civil, and any criminal activity would be reported back over to Larry.
Since it's in the ordinances already, I don't think the board needs to approve you to do that, just proceed with what's in the ordinances.
Is that
Yeah,
okay with you?
do what you gotta do.
Is there anyone here from that
Yeah,
area, the Honeywood Road, that would like to speak?
I would like to make a comment on that.
Okay.
But I need to approach.
Yeah, come up here, Josh. As long as you ain't got a 5-page letter to read.
No.
Tell us who you are and where you live.
My name is Josh Kahn.
I reside at Huntingwood Road, where I've been a homeowner for 16 years now. I'd like to comment today on the ongoing issues pertaining to the tenants at address 4659 Huntingwood Road. These issues include a vast amount of reported incidents of one or more violent pit bulls terrorizing the neighborhood, such as myself being bitten, multiple reports of neighborhood pets, including my own being bitten, multiple reports or testimonies of trespassing as the owners attempt to retrieve their unleashed dogs, even on posted property, such as my own. Personal property has also been damaged within the last 2 years that these problems have been ongoing. I'll be speaking on behalf of nearly 20 citizens that live in the proximity of 4659 Huntingwood Road. I have here with me today the handwritten testimonies of most of them that I could collect with only a 24-hour window prior to this meeting. Many of the local citizens have approached me or my wife on these matters over the course of the last 2 years. Sadly, most of them admit that they have simply given up on reporting the issues currently after their calls were deemed useless, as the problem persists on a daily basis. The first report of these issues dates back to December 5th, 2015, and as recent as yesterday, March 4th, 2018, hence the 24-hour window. I have provided a copy of these testimonies to Commissioner Randy Cox. We as a community simply would like to see a permanent solution to these ongoing issues. Appointing Mr. Randy Cox over our local animal control to oversee these matters sounds like the most logical solution at this point. Hopefully it will keep other citizens of Ramseur from having similar ongoing issues. Would you like me to read those testimonies? Well, that would be it for me.
We got a point.
Okay.
I'll let the commissioners read everything.
If any one of the commissioners wants to read them, they can certainly, you can leave them with us.
Yeah. Commissioner, what is the standard procedure in the town of Ramseur if there is a dog running loose, especially if it's a dog that, may be, what do you call it, dangerous?
Dangerous. Well, first of all, the dog has to be proclaimed as dangerous, and that would have to be handled through a series of testimonies and reports and actual witnesses of the dog doing something vicious or damaging. Of course, if the dog bites somebody or shows aggressive behavior, then it can be eventually deemed dangerous, but it has to go through a process. The town of Ramseur, right now, as long as there's an administrator and an administrator appoints somebody, as we just did, they can deem the dog a nuisance. And what that does is, once the dog is deemed a nuisance, they have 12 months where basically the animal is on probation. And during that 12 months, if the dog breaks probation, so to speak, then that dog can be declared a nuisance and be removed from town.
A certified letter that they're.
Yeah, there has to be, that would be my next step to the dog owners in this instance is they will get a letter from me stating that the dog has been declared a nuisance for all the records. And the dog has been impounded and it's been with citations. They get the dog out and it just happens again and it's repeated. So in that case, it's easy to determine. Yes, Josh?
Two dogs, multiple dogs over the course of.
Yeah, and there's a litter involved there, and we're trying to head off any other potential future problems. And basically what we see over there is a lack of owner responsibility. So when that's the case, then, yeah, we have to move forward and do something. Yeah, and that's part of the nuisance. That's part of the nuisance. And they have, they wrote citations and everything on that. It's time for the next step on that case.
I would entertain a motion to let Commissioner Cox, the police department, handle this issue to the fullest extent of the law for our ordinances. Moving second, any discussion, further discussion?
So when you send a certified letter, you give them a specific period of time in which they understand that,
The dog cannot leave the property at any time during that 12-month period.
and if the dog leaves the property at any time, the consequence is that we will impound the dog and we will,
The dog is removed from town, that's the way the ordinance is written.
and it's sent.
It's gone.
Well, it can't just poop, it's gotta
Well,
have
it would go.
He's gonna be taken out of town.
It would be impounded and then turned over to animal control for
Okay.
adoption or disposition.
I would like to say something.
Yes, ma'am.
The first incident happened December 5th of 2015. I was literally pinned in my car by one of these animals. Could not get out of my car for 45 minutes until Detective Mike decided to show up. And at that point, the dog decided to go on about its business. Nothing was done.
It's gonna be taken care of.
Just to the point where I'm done.
The amount of pit bulls is
Somebody's
increased
gonna get hurt or killed.
to over five, there's 5 or 6 of them now. They're breeding them, actively breeding them within the town limits down there. So it's not gonna be just a problem with 1 or 2. The problem will persist in the future, so we hope to see all the animals
Well, that's what we did.
to be dealt with.
We got a motion second on the floor. Any other discussion from the board? If not, all in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All opposed likewise. Dig in, gentlemen. Budget amendment, Mayor Shaw. Water and sewer budget amendment. Be it ordained by the Board of Commissioners of Town of Ramseur, North Carolina, met in regular session on Monday, March the 5th, 2018. The following funds was voted on by the Board of Commissioners. Transfer from sewer utilities to sewer, telephone, and postage, $1,500. This ordinance and amended budget document shall be the basis of the financial plan of the Town of Ramseur government during the 2017-2018 fiscal year. The budget officer has administered the budget and amendments shall ensure the operating of the town's budget to be sufficient for appropriation portion of the 2017-2018 budget. The reason for this budget amendment is due to fog letters that have been sent out and were not in previous years. The water bills are alternated each month out of water and sewer. This is a $300 expense every other month that would need to come out of this account as telephone bills. I entertain a motion we adopt this amendment. For a second?
I'll second.
Motion second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All opposed, likewise. Motion carries. RCC contract. As most of you know, Randolph Community College has been using this facility now for several years. We first started letting them use this building for $1 a month, just to get some education to people that would need an opportunity, or desire an opportunity. I spoke to Mr. Albert Laster the last couple of weeks and to renew this contract, and he informed me that this is the only place that they've had a person to get their GED through the RCC program here in Ramseur. So it's paid dividends for at least one individual. We've upped the ante on to $100 last year a month. They have to pay for our supplies that they use, restrooms and all. So nothing else in this contract has changed other than that, and so I would entertain a motion that we renew this lease with Randolph Community College for the next year.
I make a motion that we renew this contract and keep it as it is for the next year.
For a second?
It's really, I think it's till June 30th.
Yeah.
2019, is that right? That's what it is.
It's a year.
So it's really more.
Well, it's a year and a half.
It's,
But it's past due for renewal now,
Right,
but we're
right.
in February, so we're past due for it. Is there a second to that motion?
What are the, as a facility and all, is it being taken care of and all that stuff properly?
We have to have a second for you.
Yeah, I'd like to have a second before we get into discussion. Could I get a second to the motion that we renew the contract?
I'll second, so we'll have a discussion.
Any discussion? Go ahead,
Just wondering what kind of, if, I know sometimes that they're here, the facility's not, you know, for use by us or the citizens when they're here in class. I'm just not that familiar with the program, and not sure how well they're taking care of the facility and that kind of thing. Is that?
They actually have a guy that comes every Tuesday to do janitorial services from this side of the building to our office doors. He cleans the bathrooms, he vacuums, he cleans up that room that they use in there. And they use it Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights.
What happened during that period of time when the bathrooms were so dirty? I came in the office. You called and checked on it.
He had not showed up. I never even heard anything back, but he started coming back about 2
weeks
months
ago.
No, it's been longer than that. It's been about 2 months ago. He started coming back, and he's here every Tuesday.
And also some of the bathroom problems and traffic was coming from the food pantry, and they have agreed to clean it every Friday.
So we have, the RCC's cleaning every Tuesday, and food pantry people are cleaning every Friday.
Right.
Yeah.
When they're in here, the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, from what time to what time?
I think it's 6 to 8:30 or 9. I'm not here when they leave, but
3 days a week for 3 hours, give or take?
3 to 4 hours. Because sometimes they're here at 5.
Yeah, the teachers are, but the students aren't. What is the cost of our utilities on that? Because I know you have to leave the heat on in the winter and the air on in the summer.
they actually turn it way down. They keep it colder in here than normal.
And are they good about turning it back up?
Yeah.
And they just use that room, or they use both rooms?
They use the small room and this room. They have a English as a secondary language class, and then they have the GED class.
Does RCC, do they get paid for people to take those classes? Or those classes
That's not
that
something
they
I
offer
can
for
answer.
free?
I don't know that.
Does anybody know that?
I don't know that aspect at all. I know the contract with the town. I don't know how they will operate their expenses and revenues or expenditures on RCC.
Has there been any other issues?
No.
How many?
As a matter of fact, they painted this room here for us. They painted this entire room, took the curtain down, and the whole, all this room.
Do we know how many people were involved with taking classes?
It varies. It's an opportunity they wouldn't have, if, people in our community would not have it local if we didn't offer it here at our facility. So, what's the education work? Yeah. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion of renewing the contract, raise your hand. All opposed? All right, thank you. Next item of business is Jake breaking.
I know you've already voted on it, but can I ask a question? If they fail to start cleaning the bathrooms like they've done in the past, is there anything that we can do, or is there somebody that Bobby can call?
Mr. Laster told me that if we had a problem, like, if that guy wasn't here, all we had to do is call him.
I'm good with it.
We'll take care of that.
As long as the clerk has somebody to contact.
Yeah, we got number one man to contact, Mr. Everett Laster. Jake breaking on Highway 64, I've been receiving a lot of phone calls about tractor trailers coming into town. And I guess y'all know what I call it Jake breaking.
Engine brake.
Wakes up your neighbors in the community and they want something done. I suggested to Commissioner Cox, and since it's probably a police matter, that we have some signs put up at each end of town prohibiting Jake breaking in corporate limits. That will have to be approved for the state DOT. So I would like for you, sir, to contact the DOT and see if we can get some signs put up on each end with permission from the board. Well, you and Randy can get together. It's a law enforcement.
That's for the whole town, right? Not just on 64. They're doing it on Main Street
Jake breaking,
also.
yeah, and enforcing throughout the city.
We can post that.
Well, we're gonna do that.
Is that an ordinance already?
Pardon?
Is that an ordinance already?
Yeah, resolution. I would entertain a motion that we draw up a resolution to get jailbreaking and prohibited inside the corporation of Ramseur. You're out of order. Is there any further discussion on jailbreaking? If not, all in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All opposed likewise. Bob, can you help us drop the resolution out there?
Yeah.
It's simple to do it. Okay, the next item of business we have on the agenda is committees. Mayor Shaw. And I want to say, before we get into any discussion on this, that Commissioner Cottle has got a lot of interest in our community. She's went out above and beyond what most people would have done or have done in the past, getting people to talk about what Ramseur needs. However, I have a couple of statements I want to read, and all you have it in your packet, I'm sure. The General Administration, Chapter A in our ordinance says that Section 7, committees. The mayor and commissioners may create such committees of the board for special purposes as they deem best. And also under Parks and Recreation, there is an ordinance creating, now this is an ordinance that's in effect, an ordinance creating Department of Recreation and the Recreation Advisory Committee, establishing their functions and their duties. And it specifically states, be it ordained by the Board of Commissioners of the Town of Ramseur, there is hereby created the Department of Recreation subject to the general control and supervision of the Board of Commissioners of the Town of Ramseur. The Department of Recreation shall have general supervision, direction, and control over all public recreation, personnel, programs, activities, facilities, and areas of said town. Section 3, there is hereby created a Recreation Advisory Committee which shall perform the following functions: to assist in the formulation of plans for recreation for the town of Ramseur, to make recommendations to the Board of Commissioners from time to time with respect to recreation programs, facilities, resources, and the needs of the town of Ramseur, to assist in the coordination of the town recreation program with that of private, public, or semi-public agencies, to perform such other duties as may be assigned by the Board of Commissioners of the town of Ramseur. Section 4, the Recreation Advisory Committee shall be composed of 9 members who shall be appointed by the Board of Commissioners to serve without compensation for terms of 3 years, with the exception of the members first appointed, 1/3 of whom shall be appointed for terms of 1 year, 1/3 of whom shall be appointed for terms of 2 years, and 1/3 of whom shall be appointed for terms of 3 years. Any vacancy arising for a cause other than the expiration of term shall be filled only by an unexpired portion of the term. The Recreation Advisory Committee shall hold meetings regularly at least each month on such days and at such hours as may be fixed by the committee. Special meetings be held on call of the chairman upon 24 hours notice to the members of the committee. A full account of all meetings be recorded in a minute book to be kept with the secretary. The Recreation Advisory Committee shall annually elect a chairman and vice chairman from its members. The Recreation Advisory Committee shall make report of its activities and plans to the Board of Commissioners of the town of Ramseur at least annually before the 1st of July. All ordinance in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. This ordinance shall be in full force effective the day after its passage. So, I know Vicki, Commissioner Collins went out and had some people come in and talk about some things that needs to be done in Ramseur, and I agree with her 100%, we need to move forward. However, according to our ordinances, we have to select 9 people to serve on that committee to be appointed by the Board of Commissioners. Now, I'm going to just lay that out there for y'all's discussion. What's the pleasure of this board?
I guess I'll go first.
Yes.
After reviewing this ordinance, I think this is an awesome opportunity for us. I think that having 9 people that are willing to put their heart and soul into creating an actual board will not only be good for our community, it may also assist us with grant opportunities. I do have some questions. First off, there's no date on this and when it was imposed, and that in itself is not a problem. The problem that I see is that this board, not specifically this existing board right now, I don't understand why it was not in place, has not been in place. Was it disbanded, and what happened to the board? I guess that is a matter of history. So it's my assumption that this board should operate something similar to the planning and zoning board, where you have people that are every month gonna meet and be appointed. But my question is, why has this board not been in existence for the last several years?
I will answer that question to this effect, Commissioner Fowler. The years that I've been here, no one has took the interest in our community that you have as far as getting things going. Bottom line. We have had recreation committees, not committees, but how do I want to say it?
Voluntary.
No, well.
Associations.
Pardon?
Associations.
Association to look at the ballpark. That's it. No one has really brought this out till you came on board. Now, that's the bottom line. My 25 years experience in this town, no one, 22 years, I'm sorry, no one has brought this to the table prior to you doing it. And I called Freda about this ordinance. I said, Freda, don't have a date on it. She said, no, but she said it's probably done back in the 60s. That's all I can tell you. However, it's in the ordinance book. It is an ordinance. I think the board should form a committee of 9 people with staggered terms. But does that answer your question why it has not been done before?
Yeah, but, and I don't know where the number 9 came from. It's my opinion that I think 9 is a little high, especially since we can't keep 5 on the planning and zoning board.
Well, you've had probably 15 or 20 meetings you've been having, have you not?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so
have.
9 out of the 20 should be sufficient, should it not?
I would like to maybe see it scaled down just a little bit. Yes, I've had 9 or 10 to 15 to 20 plus at some of my committee meetings, but as I've indicated at all of these meetings, it's kind of a rolling. Some people can and can't make it. Some people make it on the second Monday of each month. Some people are coming in on Thursdays. There's different days for different committees, and to try and get 9 in one place at one time that may conflict with their own personal schedules, I think that's a little high. Mr. Overman?
Commissioner, I was talking with the attorney. If it would please you to put this on the table, any further discussion until next month, and tell me how to say this again, to where we can drop this. I'm trying to get the legal stuff back out to go from 9 to 5 to where it wouldn't be such a far reach to get so many people, like you said. If the planning and zoning board can work on 5, I don't understand why a Parks and Recreation Committee couldn't be brought down to 5. But if it would please you to hold off on this until next meeting, and we will get with the attorney to get this drew up to drop it down from 9 to 5.
That would actually also be great, because that would give me an opportunity. Next Monday, we do have a committee meeting to get with my committees and see if we can get 5 people that would be willing to commit to serve on this board for a 3-year term.
You know, when you change an ordinance, you have to have a public hearing. Did you know that?
Well, we may need to have a public hearing on
Pardon?
it.
That'd be a zoning. Let me double check.
This is not a zoning ordinance.
I know that. You have to have a public hearing of a zoning ordinance.
Anytime you change an ordinance, do you not have to have a public hearing?
No, I think some of the police power, but Dick,
Yeah,
it's probably the wisest course to do.
exactly.
But I don't know if you're required to do all of it.
Well, I've been under the wrong impression all these years, and I thought anytime you change the ordinance, they had a public hearing on anything that you change, it's been approved.
So, in other words, like you were talking about your committees and stuff, I agree, you need some more time, but in the meantime, we're lingering. You know, you got concerts to book, you got all this, and we don't know anything. This board don't know anything what's going on.
Well, that's all right.
We're not being kept in the loop about it.
I'm on the bottom here.
I'm on
the bottom here.
I'd like to ask one more question too, if I could. These people on your committee, are they gonna be people that reside inside the corporate limits?
I don't require the necessity of the people that are on this committee to be inside the corporate limits. And here's the reason that, and the people that are coming to town for recreational purposes, they're coming to town, they come from all over this area.
Well, the reason I asked that question, Commissioner Cobb, is I understand that you have a commissioner from Franklinville that wants to be on these committees, and I think that's a conflict of interest with Ramseur and Franklinville.
The commissioner from Franklinville that's on the committees is on the concert committees.
That should not happen.
Well, I mean, let's look at it. And it's open for discussion, but here's the thing, is Ramseur Lake sits in the middle between Ramseur and Franklinville, okay? It's serving both communities.
But the funding coming from our taxpayers.
That may be
From our
true.
taxpayers.
Yeah, we should use our people, not commissioners from other communities.
Okay, let me ask you this, and I'm gonna reach out to some people that have gone to these concerts. We're looking at, what, 20 to 30 people from the town of Ramseur that have attended some of these concerts? If we've got,
Can I ask a question?
of course, Mr. Wright.
I have a check for the concerts coming from one of my customers out of Arkansas. Is that okay? $1,000 check to support the concert?
This discussion, sir, is between the board of commissioners right now, if you don't mind.
Will you let everybody else talk over it?
I did offer it, him. But my question was, and it was pretty much directed to Mr. and Mrs. Kraft, who also serve on this committee, that we've had maybe 20 to 30 people that are attending these concerts. If we can bring in more than 20 to 30 people, and they're coming in from all directions, that gives us an opportunity for our Ramseur business owners.
We had a lot more than 20 or 30 at our concerts at the lake last year.
At some of them maybe, but at some of the concerts, we had a whole lot less.
When it was really hot in July, we didn't have that many, but we did have over 100 at a time or two.
It's not hurting us.
No, it's not hurting us.
It's bringing people into our town. It's welcoming people to Ramseur, and that's where we want to be, is where we're happy to meet with people. We're happy to have people come to our town.
Bob, did you find anything on that?
Well, public hearing. Yeah, I'll read it to you. Real short. A recurrent point of confusion is when must a city council, board, or county commissioners hold a public hearing. Many governing boards spend a lot of time on zoning map amendments, and those acts require a public hearing. So a notion arises that other sorts of ordinances surely require a public hearing as well, but in fact they don't. Apart from ordinances involving land use regulation, public hearings are required only on one other sort of ordinance, Sunday closing ordinance adopted by cities. In general, apart from actions involving service districts and authorizing of borrowing, statutory required public hearings are fairly rare. Unless the statute that authorizes a particular sort of action requires a public hearing as a condition of acting, the board is under no compulsion to hold a hearing. He notes, many boards voluntarily hold public hearings in controversial situations, even though the law does not require them. Here's a list of those statutes I know that require a city council, board, or county commissioner to hold a public hearing. And there's a long list. I'll get you a copy of this. But I think what he's trying to say is, most of the time it's on zoning ordinances or other types of matters involving property or spending. But I think a lot of boards will have a public hearing day, simply to give people a chance to voice their opinion on it, and then it generally gives an opportunity of some due process for the citizens. You don't have to do on everything,
Okay.
But I think it's more of any kind of satellite annexation, some kinds of zoning laws. I've got a list, it's a list there, I'll get a copy to you.
Okay. Well, you know, that
I've
being
got a few
said,
more things I'd like to say on that, if you don't mind.
no, go ahead.
Okay. We have an opportunity to create a circle of success. Okay? Bringing larger bands in, more expensive bands in, we're gonna need sponsorship money.
Yeah.
Sponsors go ahead and sponsor people because that gets their name out in front of more people. If you're limiting that number of people that's coming to our concerts, you're limiting the number of sponsors we have, and in the long run, limiting the amount of money that the concerts are gonna have to book people. Instead of booking 3 or 4 $1,000 concerts, we could put 5 or 6 $1,500 or $2,000 concerts, bringing more people into our community, and then maybe apply for some TDA money and even bring more money into our community. It's all about getting the business names out there so people will come here and create that success. And I really can't understand why that's a problem.
I think I don't think it's a problem. I think it was concerned with some citizens that you would have someone on a committee from another town that serves on their board and stuff, and we have people in town to sponsor their time and stuff, and it's not that they don't want them to be in it, but if it's gonna be a joint effort and they're gonna have a say in how we spend our money, they feel like maybe it should be a joint effort from both towns.
Here's my take on the whole deal. We had a gentleman over here that volunteered to be on the committee. He was not asked to be on the committee. He hadn't received a phone call or an email, but you have another person from another community that you pulled in. That's not right in any aspect, none whatsoever.
At each committee meeting, we've announced the date for the next committee meeting.
Can't always be there every day. Sorry.
Okay?
Let's go this way. I'm just expressing an opinion that was passed on to me, okay? And I fully support that opinion. Let's get back to this. We can reduce that to 5 if that's what this board wants to do. Without any further action, we can do that tonight. However, the board of commissioners have to approve this committee, right?
Yes.
These members, right?
That's what it says.
Okay. So if you want to make a motion to reduce this, we can do that tonight. Can we not, Bob?
Well, you can't.
Now change.
You know, it's the first time it's come before the board.
Oh, let's hold the comment down.
You know, it's the first time it's come before the board. You guess you need to ask yourself if that's what you want to do. You haven't had any citizen input on this, or whether you want to reduce the size of the board. I mean, y'all just found this ordinance.
Well, we didn't just find it. It's been in there, but.
Well, I know it's been in there, but nobody really.
Because the first night that I came to the meeting that they had, I told Vicki that we had an ordinance, I had to go find it, and I got tied up with another lady that night, so I didn't get back to her. But
I also asked that the names be turned over because it was put on a sheet that night to the commissioners so we could overlook it and see it. That hasn't been done.
Do you want
Remember
to,
that night I asked you to turn the papers over, give it to Bobby so she can make a copy and put it in our packet? And then the commissioners will have time to look it over before the next meeting so we can move forward.
do we want to put this committee business off until next month to decide how many you want, and then you bring?
Yes, I do, and I would also like, if these people are contacting you, and these people are contacting Commissioner Cheek, just like you do every other person that has an issue with one of my departments, I would like you to forward their phone number or forward my phone number to them so they can contact me directly. Just like you do with anybody else that's had a problem with something that's gone on.
You get anybody to contact me?
I've been giving it to you, Vicki, but you're not even keeping us in the loop.
Grant,
let's
we go right here and then we're gonna get in the loop.
Look, let's do this. Let's do this.
Because a lot of this could be answered over the phone.
Let's
You
do
don't
this.
have to come to the
Let's
board.
decide next month if you want to go to a 5-member committee, since we already have an ordinance to that effect.
And I would also like to know, and if you could do some research, when the last time that board was in effect?
This board,
Yes.
as far as I know, like I said, I can go back 22 years, but that's as far as I can go back.
I mean, I think that's I think it shows that this
Pardon?
board, that a portion of this board is just trying to control what could be a successful organization.
Well, you know, it's like you said earlier, the ordinances, we have to follow our ordinances, we're talking about the dog situation.
We don't have to follow the
So now we
ordinances
need
all
to
the
follow
time,
these ordinances.
especially ordinances that haven't been in effect for 22 years.
We can't just go ahead and pull people in to do stuff for the town without the board approving it. But if we have an ordinance to that effect, that's what I'm saying.
We're calling for ideas.
Yeah, ideas are fine. Volunteers and committee are two different things. I've mentioned to you before about volunteers. That's not a committee, that's volunteers to do exactly what you're doing now. Have a lot
I think the committee is a great idea, and I think it involves everyone. I think the biggest concern is that that committee is set up in a way that it represents the citizens of the town, and that this board is responsible for control of that, and that's, I think that's why this was set up like it was. It's an ordinance that's still in effect, it hadn't been repealed. If we feel like it needed to be repealed, that would be a big issue, I think, wouldn't it, Bob? You get something repealed, it would have to go through legislation.
You want to have that noticed on
However, it was set in an ordinance for protection of the town for some reason. At that time, we don't know what it was, but it was set up for a reason.
Yeah.
Commissioner
So
Collins.
we,
I'm sorry.
I think we need to explore it. I think and review it. And I'd like to table it for the next meeting. Let us review it and discuss what areas.
Make a motion to table it.
For the last 2 years, the commissioners had been informed on the concerts at the lake or this other stuff. I mean, I'm glad that there's an ordinance now that they found it to where we can all be informed, but it's just been found because Commissioner Caldwell is taking her time in getting these groups together. I call a spade a spade. I mean, you know, they're pointing you out, but I would say I've been a commissioner for 2 years, and I have not been informed on anybody being selected for any of the concerts or anything else.
I would like to make a comment on that. I talked to the commissioners last year, the office handled the concerts and stuff. David didn't want to get involved. He did not want, he doesn't come in, he don't ask. You try to ask him to help you. No, I'm not doing that and stuff. That was his word to me. He never took an interest in it before. David, you go ahead and do it. You do it, Mr. Wilson. Let him, what he just threatened, and it's on tape.
I heard.
Listen, the whole point is we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to bring Ramseur back. And I really think that instead of continually trying to control, it's not like I'm spending $1,000 out here to raise the roof. We've got ideas going on. We're working, we're cleaning, we're doing things that haven't been done in a very long time. And just because a commissioner from another town is willing to work with our town, which I think is great. It shows that we're part of a county, it shows that we're part of a bigger picture. And I really am frustrated and can't understand why you guys don't want to play nice with the rest of the county.
You have to play nice with your own people if you're gonna play nice with your
That's
town.
what I'm saying.
We don't seem to have a
Play nice with your own
problem.
people before you play with somebody else.
Talking about this man sitting right here.
This man sitting right here is welcome to come to any one.
Well,
of these
let's
meetings.
table this for next month and see what the board wants to do about the 5 versus 9 committee. Would you make a motion, please?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
We have a motion on the floor that we put this off until
I second it.
the April meeting for further discussion on our committees. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All opposed likewise. We'll take this up next month. Chamber membership, Mayor Shaw. We received a membership application from Randolph Eastern Randolph Chamber of Commerce, when, last week? Last week, Bobby?
It's been about
And
2
then
weeks.
2 weeks.
Not 2 weeks, came certified mail from Ramseur Eastern Randolph Chamber of Commerce. Want town to join the chamber. I think I'll already have a copy of the packet, do you? Well, what's the pleasure of this board? I'm just saying we got an application.
Well, I will bring it up again, because as we know, I am part of the member of the Ramseur Eastern Randolph Chamber of Commerce. I think it is a good idea, and it shows that, as Mr. Hubbard said earlier, we are moving forward. The chamber has stepped back based on the prior board's insistence. They've stepped back, they've reorganized, they've regrouped, and they've been proven to show that they are doing beneficial things for our community. Again, I think it would be a good idea to show a form of unity, to show that the town of Ramseur is willing to work with a civic organization that wants to better and promote the town of Ramseur. I will make a motion that the town of Ramseur join the Ramseur Eastern Randolph Chamber of Commerce.
Is there a second to that effect?
I'll second.
Moved in seconds, any discussion?
What would we fall under, Commissioner, what would we fall under this?
You're under nonprofit.
Non-profit.
$75 a year. Any discussion?
What position do you hold with
I'm
the chamber?
currently been voted in as treasurer.
You may want to amend that application, just put local governments on there instead of nonprofits. You might want to put a section for local governments as opposed to, because we're not really a nonprofit. We're a body politic created by the election.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, difference.
What benefits, just for my sake and that they wouldn't know, what benefits are the chamber for the citizens? In other words, if we join the chamber, what does it benefit our citizens out of the town hall joining the chamber?
Well, in my opinion, it would show that we're working together. But what the chamber does is it helps promote businesses within our town. When we're promoting businesses within our town and our town is working with the chamber, when people are looking at that and they're looking at coming to our community and they're gonna see a nice happy family here, they may be more apt to move to our town. Bringing businesses into our town is always good for us. Businesses will increase the tax value, it will increase the people that want to live here and work here. It's just a good opportunity for everybody to show that we can work together, especially after everything that we've gone through in the last couple of years, where it's just been constant argument. I think everybody in our community is willing to put that behind us, move forward, and start working together so we can show that we're unified, that we're wanting to bring business to our town.
I think we're gonna have to go a step further than we have tonight to show unity. Just my
I'm with
opinion.
you on that.
I'd like to table that one also too.
Well, we have a motion on the floor in a second, we'll have to put on this
Sorry.
one. What I would like to say is, in discussion, is that, in February 8, 2016, the town of Ramseur voted 3-2 to pull all activities from the chamber, and that no new activities could be started after July the 6th. And the chamber continues to do activities in our town, on their own. I think they have an event scheduled in May on Low Mill Hill.
We have an event scheduled in June.
June the 28th,
June 23rd.
movie.
Yeah, we're gonna have a movie, and the chamber is sponsoring this, and it's really something that's nice. We're planning on having a movie and inviting the town to come down and kind of like a drive-in like setting, except you can bring your lawn chairs out. And,
I understand, but
I mean, I think that's something that's great for our community and bringing the kids out.
I understand, but the bottom line is, Commissioner Collins, the board voted not to, for the committee, chamber to do any new committees, activities, and they proceeded to do so. So I'm just throwing that out since
With all due
since
respect,
we're
Mr.
discussing.
Mayor, the town does not control an organization. It doesn't control a business.
I understand that we don't.
We have, the chamber has not tried to create any conflict within the town of Ramseur. We have tried to take the higher road. We've expanded so we could move out of Ramseur just because there were so many hard feelings. And it seems apparent that there are still some hard feelings, even though for the last 2.5 years, we've done nothing but do good for our community. And it's only a very small number of people that are trying to create problems with the board, with the chamber. And I do not understand why there is such a hard time for y'all to want to get along.
Y'all.
Y'all.
Well, to put the whole nut in the shell, or out of the shell, whichever, the previous board voted at one time to join the Chamber of Commerce. We were once members of the chamber, were we not?
Yes, you were, and
And
at
the
that
board-
time, I did not serve on the board.
And the board, sometime later, pulled their membership.
The board pulled their membership at the same time as the president
So,
and the
my
treasurer
question-
resigned.
My question is now is, what has the chamber done to entice the board to rejoin the Chamber of Commerce?
We've been nice.
What has the chamber done to the town of Ramseur?
We've been nice.
I was told when the chamber was organized that we're gonna buy new Christmas decorations, go downtown for the town of Ramseur. They haven't spent a dime for Ramseur.
That's not true. That's not true. You were told by somebody of a goal that one individual that did not serve on the board would like to see their board vote for chamber to buy Christmas decorations. That was not approved by the board. It was not even brought up to the board as a board because the funds were not available.
Vicky, I would like to say this, I'm not against the chamber, I'm not saying I don't want the chamber to help, but you said the chamber hasn't been that nice and you directed stuff towards this board. When we asked for stuff back for the fall festival, y'all didn't allow us one thing back.
That's correct. We did not give you our work product.
But
We did not give you our
But if you
work
come about
product.
working together, when it was turned over to the chamber, it was given to y'all. We even asked the board to walkie-talkies, we wasn't even allowed to do that, and that stuff was given to y'all.
You did not come before the board of directors and ask. Nobody from the town approached the board of directors and requested that.
I think there was an email sent.
That is not coming before the board.
But it's gotta be a team effort on both ends.
You're talking about something that happened 2.5 years ago. We have really, really gone forward and have not looked back at all the negativity.
Starting a scholarship and you're starting a movie night.
This is.
That's a step for, how does it say, moving forward, that's moving forward.
Moving forward.
Any further discussion?
I would like to interject one thing here. And, you know, when the chamber would come into existence, I was there. It used to be a merchant association. Merchant association took care of the fall festival. For the last part of the few years it was in existence, that was his purpose, was the fall festival. Their funds were transferred to the Chamber of Commerce.
A portion of their funds.
Portion. Part of those funds in relation to the Merchant Association, the only request that was made was some benches on Main Street, which I haven't seen yet. I don't know exactly who was.
I don't have any idea about any of
Who
that.
was supposed to be in charge of that or look over that. However, that was the only request that was made, and that was never, you know, this request was made by somebody that spent their time and money for years planning and keeping up the fall festival. And I'm really disappointed if it's this board, if it's the chamber that was supposed to do that. I'm really disappointed that that wasn't done.
I don't have any knowledge of what you're talking about.
Well, it was wrong before the chamber was even formed that the merchants would turn over that money. And it was their request, and that came from Carol Akers, and it was their request. Yeah, one Simmons.
When the chamber was formed, I believe it was formed with people from outside the city limits also. I know the STEP program was invited in to vote on that decision, and the majority of them lived outside of the town limits.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion of, membership applications, Randolph Fisher, Randolph Chamber of Commerce, raise your hand. All opposed? Well, where's Commissioner Library? I need to remember him tomorrow, he's having surgery tomorrow.
Yeah, it was Wednesday.
He's going into hospital tomorrow.
I will, due to the circumstances that's happened in the past, if we have minutes backing us up on, I will vote not to join the Chamber of Commerce at this time. Move on to the next item of business, water and sewer expenses. Commissioner Chief.
There is no water or sewer expenses, but I will say, I think it's the 15th of this month. We're having a meeting to bid out the contract on Holly Hill Street for pump station and stuff that we're having redoing. So that project will be starting to work soon. We'll having the bid here on the 15th.
Anything else on that? Senior and Kids Program, Commissioner Fowler.
The committee has met and we have come up with some great ideas. We have decided it would be a good idea to implement programs in stages, starting with the programs for seniors. We talked about some of the problems seniors face, from isolation to healthy food, insurance questions to internet education, scam avoidance, and how to use their smartphones. How we can intertwine the seniors with the kids, which would help both groups. We decided that we needed a survey to get more information and to hold a lunchtime social. We would like a volunteer to be available on the days the food bank is open, to meet with some of the seniors and give them a survey, pass out surveys at local restaurants and stores to get more input. We had a representative from an organization called Impact Health. Some of you may know Myra Getty or Rhonda Holliday. Both have been actively involved in teaching and keeping people healthy for more than 20 years. Impact Health has provided a proposal in teaching for an 8-week program, meeting twice a week, which would include wellness education and exercise. Both are certified in exercise instruction, CPR, and first aid. I would like to see us start with the first 8-week program, take 4 weeks off, and then implement another 8-week program with 4 weeks off. During the 4 weeks between programs, we can offer speakers to help seniors with the issues stated above, try to arrange field trips, and give them a hand they can reach out to, a place to be social with members of their own community. We talked about programs for kids, the MOPS program, which is for preschoolers, how we can engage the elementary and middle school kids, assistance with tutoring, healthy eating, and physical fitness, challenges that will instill pride, learning to be a part of our community. Challenges we face include transportation, getting the word out, and parental involvement. As we get closer to summer vacation, we can look at more recreational programs, utilizing our park, homemade craft projects, dance contests, etc. Keeping our kids safe, both physically, on the internet, and how to protect each other from bullying. This idea may not satisfy the concrete plan that the board is looking for, as it's hard to actually implement a program on a baby. We have a strong commitment from volunteers in our community, and I think we will be able to get even more to commit once we can secure funding. As a reminder, I'm requesting the funds come out of the alcohol sales revenue, which are not included in the budget and not earmarked for anything else. Hi, y'all there?
Yeah.
Sure you're done.
Are you gonna go ahead with this program prior to getting your committee together?
What do you mean prior to getting the committee? You mean prior to getting the funding?
Prior to getting funding and the committee?
The advisory committee?
Right.
Well, I guess that depends on whether or not you're gonna give me any cash.
Well, you haven't asked for any.
I asked for $5,000.
No, you haven't. You've mentioned it, but you haven't officially asked for $5,000.
I would make a motion that this board authorize $5,000 from the alcohol sales revenue of over $7,000 to be set aside and earmarked for the seniors and kids program.
Is there a second? If there's no
I'll
second,
second
then sir,
I'll second it.
I have a motion, second on the floor. Is there any discussion?
What, was there any other place where we were considering alcohol sales to be used?
One time the board was talking about, it wasn't made into a motion or anything, it was using it towards our policeman retirement, because we have to pay that, that salary once they retire to a certain age, but it wasn't anything put in right there, it was just something we talked about.
What kind of funding right now is set aside for retirement? Because we have several that's gonna retire soon.
There's not any.
This is something that I believe would have to go into your budget. When you come up in July, you're gonna have to request that money be set aside out of the budget.
I would be more for waiting the budget time to earmark that.
Out of the $5,000, how would you go about spending it? Would it be more than $1,000 at a time?
No, sir. No.
But anything over $1,000
Has to have board approval, that's understood. With the Impact Health Group for the 8-week program, they are requesting $350. I think that's more than worth it for the level of instruction that they're gonna get and for the years of experience that they're offering. And that's for an 8-week program meeting twice a week. So you're looking at several hours right there. So I think that is a great opportunity. I was also told that what they consider seniors is anybody over 50 years old. So that means I will be able and eligible to take that class and looking forward to it.
And how are you gonna get the public aware of this?
Well, that's what we were talking about, is getting it out, and part of that budget will also be for flyers, postcards that we can pass out, get the churches to pass out, put at the grocery stores. I know they have a McDonald's meeting in the morning over there with the seniors, taking it up to the senior apartment complex up here. I think that we're gonna be able to get it out, and I'm sure it's gonna start a little bit small. They're looking at starting this first 8-week program in May to give us some time to get some advertising on it.
One other thing, what would it be held at?
That, we haven't made a decision on yet. I've had some input from RMA, is Don still here? I would like, if we could, to utilize the church up the road because they have a gymnasium, but it would depend on their schedule. If not, we may need to go into one of the other churches outside when the weather permits. It's just all depending on the specific program we come up with and the availability of a space. I mean, the thing is if the funds are there and it's put in the budget and we don't use it, we're not losing the money. It's not going anywhere if we don't use it.
Any other discussion?
One more question.
Yes, sir.
Do you not have money set aside in your budget already for Parks and Recreation that you could use other than this alcohol money?
We do have money in our budget, but when I touch base on the problems that we have at Parks and Rec in the lake here, which is next on our list, I think you'll see that we may need to hold back on spending some of that money. And I mean, I just really think the money was not even included in the budget that was presented neither for 2016 nor 2017. I mean, I'm the one that saw it, I'm the
Yeah, I
one
don't
that.
think it was a full year. The 1 year was just for bill sales, and then, it was only like a couple months for alcohol. I haven't received a full year's yet.
It was
from
beer and
alcohol.
wine, it was beer and wine sales for the 2015 to 2016, which was over $3,000. And it was beer and wine sales for the 2017 year, which was over $7,000. So we've had a total of $10,000 that was not even included in our budget.
I think in last year's budget, Bobby, you correct me if I'm wrong, in last year's budget, we did not know how much money we would get from alcohol sales. Am I not correct? Because we asked, and they did not have any figures when we started our budgets proceeding last year. You will have some figures this year when we start doing our budget
Well, you knew
workshops.
you were gonna get at least $3,000, because that's what you got the year before.
$3,000.
The board did not vote to put that in the budget.
Thank you. The board voted not to put that in the budget.
That's right, that's right.
Okay, so you've got money that comes from the sale of alcohol, which comes from not only people that live in Ramseur, but people that shop in Ramseur, that can be used to provide a service for the seniors and the kids, for the people of Ramseur and the surrounding community, which is only gonna help the town of Ramseur.
And then how you gonna take care of your retired firemen when that time comes around?
Well, then I hope that we can put something in the budget for that. I mean, I didn't even ask for all the money, I only asked for a portion of it.
How was we taking care of the police department, the fire department before this money came in?
We only have one that's drawn right now, but in the next couple of years, we got
Bills.
I said, how was we making arrangements to pay the retired police officers and firemen before this alcohol
It's
money
not
was
firemen,
coming
it's
in?
only the police,
One
and it's
police officer.
budgeted in their
Firemen are
salaries.
paid by
It's
the state.
budgeted in, excuse me, Bobby,
It's budgeted in the salaries line item,
it's budgeted in the salary line item where that money comes from. That's your answer.
but you're gonna have at least
It's
two
gonna
or three
increase.
at one time.
It's gonna
Yes.
increase.
And that's till age 62, if I'm not correct. If they retire 55, that's 7 years.
Well, I guess we better keep them working.
Pardon?
Guess we better keep them working.
Good luck on that. Any other discussion? We have a motion on the floor to take $5,000 out of alcohol sales for programs. All in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All opposed likewise. So that would be 4-4. You didn't vote. I said yes vote. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're right.
So you have $5,000 to spend.
Well, we're gonna need to
By
spend
the
some
way,
more
before you
money.
go any further, I'm a senior too, so come on.
That's exactly right.
Parks and Recreation.
We're gonna have some more money to spend here. We've taken a tour of both the lake and Leonard Park. The lake is in pretty good condition. Some cleaning and painting is needed. We need to check the bathrooms on the shelter side to see if the staining is due to a leak. I think Mark Rose said he was gonna check into that for me, but I have not got any feedback on that from him yet. What I'm hoping that this board can offer me right now is some background information today on the aerators that are in the lake. If they work,
No,
if they do not,
they do not.
do we want to repair them?
No,
Then may we remove them, because quite honestly, they're ugly.
yes.
All right. Well,
Now, to answer your question, without jumping ahead of anybody, those aerators have never worked to their potential. They were a disaster. We bought them. They were to help our water quality. They were a disaster from the time they were put in the lake. They have never all operated at the same time. The company that put them in, I think they've gone out of business. And the last time they came down to work on them, which was probably 3 or 4 years ago, they said there were hours we had to maintain them. They will not work. They have not worked. They need to be taken out of the lake and scrapped.
okay.
That's my opinion.
That being said, anybody else? That being said, I will try and find somebody that can do that for us. I don't know Grant?
I could find somebody, but I was waiting on you to send me that email you supposed to send me.
I know, and I'm gonna just tell you the truth, I can't get on my email, and it is very, very frustrating to send an email to the town of Ramseur when and I'm hoping that's gonna get a little bit
Don't you have a
better.
telephone where you work?
Yeah, but here's the thing, if I call Grant during the day, which I did, I actually called him on my way to work. He requested an email, I was on my way to work. But during the day, he says, Vicki, I can't talk to you about commissioner stuff while I'm on the clock. I respect that, Grant, thank you. By the way, I do respect that. As far as getting somebody out of there, if you know somebody that can do it, I may try and reach out to some people that I know that are divers that might want to use that for practice. Go ahead.
I'd rather for you to send me an email and we get somebody on our end, since that's the drinking water and stuff. I just rather handle it on our end. We're supposed to handle those and get rid of them and stuff. If you let me know what needs to be done, I will.
You're saying that your department will handle it?
My department will handle it.
Okay, do I need to send you an email on it, or can you take it from here?
He take it from here.
I'm taking it. Danny, let me answer for myself. I can take it from here, but I'd rather have stuff in email form. That way, I have a paper trail.
You'll have a paper trail in your minutes.
All right. You have anything else on the lake or park?
There are some other issues on the lake that need to be repaired.
Okay.
The chimney needs to be repaired. There's the block in the shelter number 1. It's cracked on both sides, and it looks like that maybe when the smoke's going up the chimney, it's coming out. So we do need to repair that. I don't think it's going to be a big issue. Just removing that one block and you're grouting it shouldn't be too bad at all. That's for the lake. The ball field, however, is a completely different story. It is in desperate need of some love. It needs cleaning. The fencing needs to be repaired, and it is dangerous over there at this point. The concession stands are in bad shape. The bathrooms need to be redone. The toilets look horrible, and I'm not even sure we have running water in some of them. We will be working throughout the month of March, that committee that I'm not allowed to have this taken care of. Anything that our public works can do would be great, but I believe that a lot of it will need to be contracted out. I don't know that our public works crew can do fencing.
Well, in the past, are you talking about with the fencing, is it just needing a thing across the top of it?
No.
The matting?
Backstops.
No, the backstops are broke, the pipes have come apart, the fencing's pulling away,
Is that the lower field or upper field?
both,
Well, it seems like you need a fencing company.
I think so. I'll get some estimates on it, and I will present it if we have a meeting before our next meeting. If we don't, I'll present it at the next meeting.
You know how much money you have in the budget for maintenance repairs?
There's, well, I got it right here.
If I'm not mistaken, last year when we entered into contract with Mr. Stephen Heath, the money was in the budget until the end of June for maintenance repairs on the field. But Mr. Steve Heath, in his contract, he agreed to take care of the maintenance on the fields if we did him a 3-year contract, Bob?
3 or 5.
3 or 5-year contract. And we took that money out of the next year's budget because he was going to maintain it himself. Regardless of what he tells you, that money was not put in there for that purpose.
If this doesn't have anything to do with Steve Heath, we're moving forward. And in our recreation budget, we'll give me just one more minute.
It didn't have anything to do with our budget, but it's got $3,000 here. We just
And you might, Bobby, need to help me on this. Recreation, it says maintenance and repair of building, maintenance and repair of equipment. We got it.
The 4062 is the lake. The
Thank
bottom
you.
one, the 4064 is the ball
park.
field.
Okay. Maintenance and repair of buildings is $2,500. Maintenance and repair of equipment is $500. Quite honestly, I don't think we're gonna get it done for that.
No, I don't think so either. There are grant money, there is grant money out there for,
Yeah, we're in a situation right now where it's dangerous. And monies haven't been spent in the last several years for this. Every year, our recreation, our taxes provide for recreation money. We do have,
I think there was new roofs put on that last year, or the year before last, wasn't it?
there are new roofs on those buildings.
There was
at the
several.
lake, there's new roofs.
There's new roofs at the ball too.
Mhm.
They were done by Mr. Craven 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Metal roofs.
Metal roofs, that's correct.
Good, then I don't have to do it.
No.
One bathroom over to the lake on the west side,
The shelter side,
yeah, it hasn't been recovered, I don't think.
That one has
But I
not.
don't know if it needs it or not.
and I think that's the one that's leaking.
Or if it's leaking, we'll look at that.
Yeah, I think I got I think we have like $50,000 in the recreation budget. Is that correct?
62.
Oh, it was more, well, some of that's gonna go for, like, and I don't expect, I think we may just need to do a budget amendment and pull a portion of that out for, repair. After I get my quotes. That's all I have, unless y'all have some questions.
Well, I don't have a question, I'll get with Bobby on that, but I just don't know what the money's there for you to pull out of, and not in park recreation. 20,000, that comes out for your,
From the lake board,
board.
I am aware.
All right, anything else?
Update on concerts?
No. Parks and Rec.
No, I don't have anything.
All right. I would, next item of business is closed session, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the announcement before we go into executive session. The planning and zoning board will meet March the 19th at 7 p.m. and the town hall will be closed Friday, March the 30th for Good Friday. And at this time, I would entertain a motion that we go into closed session and discuss personnel.
So,
And I would like to invite our attorneys and our clerk and the commissioners.